Listen to me, some of you are out here living like you don't even matter. You wake up every day doubting yourself, questioning yourself, waiting on somebody else to give you permission to be great. You keep looking for validation in the wrong places. You're scrolling, you're checking, you're posting, you're waiting on likes, waiting on hearts, waiting on claps. You're waiting for somebody else to stamp you to say, yes, you're good enough. Let me tell you something right now. If you keep living off the world's approval, you're gonna die starving for validation. Because the truth is, nobody out there owes you a clap, nobody out there owes you recognition, nobody owes you acceptance. That has to come from inside. You've been sitting around hoping somebody will finally notice your effort. You're thinking, if they just see what I do, if they just give me a chance, if they just tell me I'm worth it. No, you don't need them to see you. You don't need them to tell you. You need to see yourself. You need to tell yourself. Stop living life on sales. Stop discounting yourself. Stop waiting for an external stamp when the only approval that matters is when you can look in the mirror and say, I know who I am. I know what I bring. I know what I'm worth. You don't get it. The world doesn't set your value. You do. The world only reacts to the value you place on yourself. When you walk in the room with your head down second, guessing every word you say, they're gonna treat you like you don't belong. But when you walk in the room like you know you've been built for this, like you know there's a gift inside you, they got no choice but to adjust. The way people see you is a reflection of how you see yourself. Some of you are broke in confidence. You keep cashing checks with zero balance in self-worth. You keep going to the bank of validation, trying to withdraw approval when your account is empty. You've been overdrafting on other people's opinions, overdrafting on likes, overdrafting on whether they clap or not. But when you finally learn to deposit self-belief, when you finally start investing in yourself, when you finally say, I'm enough even if nobody tells me I am, that's when you'll stop being bankrupt in spirit. Stop waiting on your boss to tell you you're valuable. Stop waiting on your parents to say they're proud. Stop waiting on your friends to hype you up. You can't build your life on whether or not somebody sees your light. Shine anyway, because some people will never clap. Some people will never support you. Some people will never celebrate you, and that has nothing to do with your worth. Don't you get it? Sometimes people don't clap because they don't see themselves winning, and your shine makes them uncomfortable. Sometimes people don't clap because they're too busy with their own insecurities. But whether they clap or not, you gotta keep going. Look, a diamond doesn't lose its value because somebody doesn't know how to recognize it. You put that diamond in the dirt, it's still a diamond. You put it in a pawn shop, it's still a diamond. You take it to a jeweler who understands, suddenly the light exposes what was always there. That's you. You've been treated like a rock, when in reality you're a diamond. But you've believed them because you don't know your own value. Stop letting their blindness determine your brilliance. I need you to hear me. If you don't clap for yourself first, nobody else will. You got dreams, but you keep killing them because you don't think you deserve them. You got potential, but you keep burying it because you don't think you're enough. You're waiting for somebody else to validate a vision that was given to you, not them. Why are you asking permission to live the life that's already yours? Why are you begging for acknowledgement when your Creator already put greatness inside of you? When you start believing in you, everything changes. The way you carry yourself changes, the way you talk changes, the way you show up changes. You walk different when you value yourself. You don't tolerate the same disrespect. You don't entertain the same nonsense. You don't settle for average. Because when you know your worth, you don't just dream, you demand more from yourself. But here's the catch. It's not enough to say it. You gotta live it. You can't talk about value and then treat yourself like you're worthless. You can't preach confidence while living insecure. Value yourself by putting in the work. Value yourself by developing your gift. Value yourself by refusing to quit. Because when you grind like you're valuable, when you sacrifice like you're valuable, when you push like you're valuable, the world starts to see what you've known all along. Every day you wake up, you gotta look in that mirror and speak life into yourself. I am valuable, I am worthy, I am enough. And you don't say it just to say it, you say it until you believe it. Because the moment you believe it, the world has to adjust. They can ignore your effort, but they can't ignore your results. They can reject your presence, but they can't deny your persistence. They can overlook you for a season, but when you value yourself and keep showing up, eventually they're gonna have to recognize you. And I don't care if it takes a year, 5 years, or 10, you never stop clapping for yourself. Because you were valuable before they noticed, you were valuable before they recognized, and you'll still be valuable if they never do. The moment you stop chasing their validation and start walking in your own, that's the moment you take control of your life. Some of you don't even realize it. But the reason you're not where you're supposed to be is because you're giving away your most valuable currency for free. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about your time, your energy, your focus. You only get 24 hours in a day, and once it's gone forever. You don't get it back. You can make money back, but you can't get time back, and too many of you are letting people, situations, distractions rob you every single day like thieves, and you don't even lock the door. You gotta stop giving your hours away like they don't mean nothing. You're scrolling for hours, binge, watching shows, talking to people who don't add value, hanging out in environments that keep you stuck. And then at the end of the day, you wonder why you're drained, why you're empty, why you didn't move an inch closer to your dreams. It's because you gave your time and your energy to things and people who didn't deserve it. You're cheap with your dreams, but generous with your distractions. That don't add up. Listen, if you really valued yourself, you would protect your time like your life depended on it. Because it does. Every single second you waste is a second you could have invested into becoming the person you're supposed to be. But you don't even guard it. You're answering every call. You're showing up to every event. You're saying yes to everything because you don't want to upset people. You're tired, you're burned out, and it's not because you're working too hard on your dream. It's because you're working too hard on everybody else's distractions. You gotta get to a place where you're not accessible to everybody. You gotta learn how to say no without feeling guilty. You gotta understand that every yes to something meaningless is a no to your purpose. Some of you got people in your circle who drain you every time you talk to them, and you keep answering because you feel obligated. Nah, you're not obligated to let somebody steal your energy. You're not obligated to let somebody waste your time. You can love people and still protect your peace. You can care about people and still protect your energy. Think about it. You only get a certain amount of fuel every day. And if you keep pouring it into cars that ain't even going anywhere, by the time it's time to drive your own, you're on empty. That's why you start things and don't finish. That's why you're too tired to grind. That's why your dreams keep getting postponed, because you're running on fumes from giving everything you got to things that don't move you forward. Protect your energy. Protect it with everything you got. That means you can't hang around people who are always negative, always complaining, always pulling you down. Because, whether you realize it or not, energy is contagious. You spend enough time with people who are broken in spirit, and before you know it, you're broken too. You spend enough time with people who talk small, think small, live small, and suddenly your big dreams don't even seem realistic anymore. You start shrinking yourself to fit their comfort. Stop doing that. And I know some of you are saying, but they're my friends, they're my family, they've been there for me. I get it. But just because they've been around doesn't mean they deserve full access to your energy. You can still love them, but you gotta love them with boundaries. You gotta protect your space like it's sacred, because it is. You can't build greatness in a polluted environment. You can't grow if every time you plant a seed, somebody's stepping on it. You want to know the truth? Your life right now is the result of what you've been giving your time and energy to. Look around. If you don't like what you see, it's because you've been investing in the wrong things. You keep saying you want success, but your calendar is filled with everything but success. You keep saying you want change, but your energy is going to the same routines that keep you trapped. Don't just talk about protecting your time, audit it. Look at where your hours go. Look at who drains you, who distracts you, what steals your focus, and then cut it off. Not tomorrow, not next week now. You can't afford to waste another day. Your dream is too expensive for you to keep spending your time cheap. You gotta start treating your hours like treasure. You gotta start guarding your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. Every yes should be intentional. Every no should be firm. Every move should be aligned with where you're going, not where you've been. When you finally learn how to protect your time and your energy, everything changes. You get clarity. You get strength. You get momentum. Suddenly, you're not exhausted all the time because you're no longer pouring yourself into empty places. Suddenly, you're not frustrated because you're seeing real progress. You're building. You're moving. You're growing, and let me tell you this. The people who really love you, the people who really care, they're not going to be offended when you protect yourself. They're going to understand. And the ones who get mad when you set boundaries, those were the people who were using you in the first place. So from this day forward, I need you to treat your time like it's priceless. I need you to treat your energy like it's sacred. Don't give it to everyone. Don't waste it on everything. Focus it, protect it, guard it, because when you do, you'll finally have enough left to build the life you've been dreaming of. Protect your time, protect your energy, and watch how your life transforms. Some of you are living at 10% of who you really are, and you don't even realize it. You've been so used to surviving, so used to just getting by, that you stopped demanding the best out of yourself. You wake up, you do just enough to not fail, just enough to not get fired, just enough to get through the day, and then you wonder why your life looks the same year after year. You can't keep giving yourself a discount and then expect full price results. It doesn't work like that. You say you want success, but your grind doesn't match your mouth. You say you want to change, but your effort is still average. You say you want to be the best, but you keep settling for good enough. Stop telling me what you want if you're not willing to demand it from yourself. Stop saying you want greatness if you're not willing to raise your standard. Every day you get is a new chance to prove to yourself what you're really worth. But if you keep giving weak effort, then you're telling the world you don't even believe in your own potential. Listen, life is not going to hand you anything just because you dream about it. Dreams don't pay the bills. Dreams don't open doors. Dreams don't change your reality. Discipline does. Effort does. Sacrifice does. And the only way you push yourself to that level is when you demand more out of yourself every single day. You can't keep living like you got unlimited tomorrows. You don't. You got today, and what you do today is proof of how serious you are about your future. Some of you need to stop negotiating with your own weakness. You say, I'll do it tomorrow. You say, I'll start next week. You say, I'm tired. Stop talking yourself out of your own greatness. If you don't demand more from yourself, nobody else will. If you don't push yourself, nobody else is coming to do it for you. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, here's the life you dreamed of. You gotta get up and fight for it. You gotta push for it. You gotta demand it out of yourself when nobody else is watching. Do you know why the great ones stand out? It's not because they're more talented. It's not because they were born with something special. It's because they hold themselves to a standard the average person won't. They don't accept mediocrity from themselves. They don't let themselves slide when it gets hard. They don't settle for 80% when they know they got 100% in them. And every day they wake up, they demand that higher version of themselves to show up. That's why they win. But you've been too easy on yourself. You quit when it gets uncomfortable. You give up when it gets hard. You let fear talk you out of trying. You let excuses steal your discipline. And you keep saying you're waiting for the right time, but the truth is you've just been avoiding responsibility. You've been avoiding the pressure of demanding more from yourself. And as long as you keep avoiding it, you'll keep living beneath your potential. You can't keep giving 70% and praying for 100% blessings. You can't keep giving half effort and expecting full rewards. You got to start showing up for yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Every rep you skip, every hour you waste, every time you cut corners, you're not just cheating the process, you're cheating yourself. You're robbing yourself of the person you could have been, and I need you to stop waiting until you feel like it. You think the greats felt like grinding every single day? No, but they did it anyway because they demanded it. They understood that discipline is greater than motivation. You can't build your future on feelings. Feelings change, feelings lie, but discipline, demanding more from yourself, that's what creates consistency. That's what builds momentum. That's what takes you from average to unstoppable. And don't get it twisted, demanding more from yourself doesn't mean you got to do it all at once. It means every single day you ask, what's the next level for me? If you gave 5 reps yesterday, today you push for 6. If you studied for an hour yesterday, today you push for an hour and 15. If you made 1 call yesterday, today you make 2. Step by step, level by level, you keep raising the bar. Because if you're accountable even when nobody's checking, that's when you start cashing in on your potential. I need you to stop living like you got time to waste. I need you to stop living like you can put your dreams on layaway. No, you pay in full with effort, with sweat, with sacrifice every single day. You gotta demand more out of your mind. Demand more out of your body. Demand more out of your spirit. Because if you don't, the world will demand less, and you'll stay stuck where you are. This is your life. This is your moment. Nobody's coming to push you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. It's on you, and if you really believe you were created for more, then you better start acting like it. You better start demanding more out of every single day, every single moment, every single breath. Because the day you stop settling, the day you stop making excuses, the day you start demanding more from yourself, that's the day your future begins. Some of you don't even realize it, but the reason you can't level up is because you keep surrounding yourself with people who don't see your worth. You're trying to grow in an environment that doesn't match your value, and you wonder why you keep shrinking. You wonder why your confidence keeps dropping. You wonder why your energy keeps getting drained. It's because you're spending too much time in circles that don't reflect where you're going, only where you've been. Listen to me. When you value yourself, you can't just hang around anybody. When you know you're a diamond, you can't sit around people who treat you like a pebble. When you know you got greatness in you, you can't surround yourself with people who only talk small. If you stay in the wrong environment long enough, you start to believe what they believe. You start to lower your standards to match theirs. And before you know it, you've forgotten who you are because you let their perspective override your purpose. You gotta get this. Energy flows both ways. If you're pouring your energy into people who don't see you, who don't push you, who don't challenge you, then guess what? You're empty, you're drained, you're stagnant. But when you surround yourself with people who match your value, people who remind you of your worth, people who challenge you to step into your full potential, suddenly you grow. Suddenly you rise. Suddenly you start becoming everything you were built to be. Some of you are loyal to environments that are killing you. You keep going back to the same people who never clap for you. The same people who only call when they need something. The same people who laugh at your dreams because they can't see past their own limitations, and you're staying because you're comfortable, because it's familiar, because you don't want to be alone. But let me tell you something, being alone while you grow is better than being surrounded by people who make you shrink. You can't be afraid to outgrow your circle. You can't be afraid to walk away when the environment doesn't fit your future. Because if you're serious about your destiny, you gotta be willing to disconnect from anything and anyone that doesn't match your value. That doesn't mean you don't care. That doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself enough to stop letting them hold you back. Think about it, an eagle doesn't spend time flying with pigeons. Not because it hates pigeons, but because it was built to soar higher. If the eagle stays on the ground too long, it forgets it has wings. Some of you have forgotten you got wings because you've been living on the ground with people who never intend to leave it. Stop letting small environments convince you that your dreams are too big. Stop letting people with no vision talk you out of yours. When you value yourself, you intentionally place yourself in spaces that align with your worth. You sit at tables where people push you to grow. You connect with people who challenge your excuses. You put yourself around those who clap when you win and check you when you're slacking. That's what it means to surround yourself with value. It's not about comfort. It's about accountability. It's about being sharpened by people who refuse to let you live beneath your potential. And here's the truth, some of you won't ever see your full potential until you change your environment. Because your environment dictates your energy. If all you hear every day is negativity, doubt, gossip, fear, then that's the seed being planted in your mind. But if you surround yourself with faith, with vision, with discipline, with hunger, that's the seed that grows inside you. It's not just who you are, it's who you're around. And if you don't control it, it'll control you. I get it, it's hard to leave some circles. It's hard to walk away from people you've known for years. But ask yourself, are they helping me get closer to my destiny, or are they holding me hostage to my history? Are they reminding me of my value, or are they making me forget it? Because if they're not aligned with where you're going, they're not meant to go with you. You gotta start protecting your space the same way you protect your dreams. You gotta treat your circle like it's sacred. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, because the truth is, if they don't see your value, they'll diminish it. If they don't respect your worth, they'll abuse it. And if you don't set the boundary, they'll keep doing it. So what do? You start choosing differently. You start surrounding yourself with people who clap when you win, who challenge you when you slack, who speak life into your vision, not death. You surround yourself with people who see in you what you sometimes forget is there. You surround yourself with people who don't just say, you can do it, but live in a way that makes you believe it's possible. Because when you place yourself in the right environment, your value multiplies. You start thinking bigger, you start moving differently, You start believing at a higher level. That's the power of aligning yourself with people who match your worth. So hear me loud. If you value yourself, you can't afford to keep sitting at tables where you're not respected. You can't afford to keep giving access to people who don't appreciate you. You can't afford to keep wasting energy in environments that suffocate your dreams. Because you were created for more, and if your circle doesn't reflect that, then it's time to change it. You don't rise by chance, you rise by choice. And one of the most powerful choices you can make is to surround yourself with what matches your value.